I think that as teachers, we have dedicated our lives to being lifelong learners. Every experience adds to our perspective and helps develop the type of teachers we want to be. We are constantly discovering new ways to share the excitement of learning with our students. We collaborate and attend professional development so we can provide nothing but the best for our students. This past summer, I was selected to attend Honeywell's Educator at Space Academy, a scholarship-based week-long professional development that changed how I viewed teaching. I was one of 204 teachers who spent a week in Huntsville, Alabama, attending the Educator's version of Space Camp. It was an experience that changed my life profoundly. We were separated into teams of 20 people, with teachers from all over the world. Our task was to solve a series of missions and complete designated experiments. The teachers in each group came from different countries and walks of life, similar to the students in my class. We spoke different languages, celebrated different festivals, and identified with different cultures. Despite being from over 43 states and 27 countries, we all had one thing in common: our love of teaching. We bonded over our passion for space and science, our interest in STEM-focused education, and desire to help our students achieve their highest potential through innovation, cutting-edge science, and experimentation. This professional development had me spend an entire week looking at space as my students would. It wasn't an opportunity for me to be an adult. Rather, it was time for me to engage like a student, asking questions, engaging in discussion, and pondering the greatness of the vast unknown that is space. It was time to make lifelong friends. We were challenged to trust each other in daunting physical tasks, relying on one another to provide support, strength, and courage when we had none. We needed to ask our teammates for reassurance and a helping hand when it seemed like you just couldn't go any further. This was both challenging and rewarding. While completing a helicopter crash test simulation in a helodunker, I discovered that 2 of my teammates did not know how to swim and were terrified of drowning. Being a lifeguard as a teenager, I had to reassure them that I would be there to hold their hand and support them. These are the tests our students face daily when encountering a task of team setting. The most rewarding part is when you accomplish the task and realize that working in a cooperative unit is far better than working alone. I equated this with working with colleagues when designing lessons in PBLs. Until now, I had faced all of these challenges alone, without asking for help or support of my peers. This experience reminded me that 2 heads are better than 1. Later that same day, I was asked to zip line into a lake, but found myself frozen at the edge of the ledge due to my tremendous fear of heights. My teammates stood by my side, talking to me, coaching me, and supporting me as I decided to push myself to complete this task. I had to prove to them I would be there for them no matter what, and now they wanted to show me the same. In addition to overcoming emotional and physical hurdles, we spent several days putting our minds to the test. We were asked to develop a heat shield for a space shuttle. As astronauts return from space into the atmosphere, the nose cone of the rocket is subjected to large amounts of heat due to friction. Our mission was to develop a model shield that would keep our astronauts safe. We were provided with an assortment of materials and were asked to use what we knew about heat resistance, friction, and flammability to design a shield. In order to test our theory, we were given an egg and a blowtorch. The team who created the shield that withstood the impact of the heat from the blowtorch for 3 minutes was the team that successfully fulfilled their mission. We also designed and built model rockets to test our understanding of propulsion, aerodynamics, and circuitry. I will admit I was very nervous because I had not utilized some of these science skills in years. It challenged me to work through my concerns and learn from my mistakes. I was truly learning the science behind rocketry as a student would. When we were all finished, we decided to launch our rockets as a fleet instead of individually. It was very symbolic of the journey we were taking together as a team. Each teacher had designed a beautifully well-crafted rocket that would travel 700 feet before crashing into a nearby field. It was the most marvelous sight to see. Another set of magical moments while in Huntsville were our flight simulations. We completed a lunar flight simulation as well as one aboard the Mars rover. Within each mission, we were divided into smaller teams that were in charge of collecting data and research aboard a lunar space station or working in the command station helping astronauts lead the mission. My first experience was as an astronaut using a zero-gravity simulator. Attached to my harness was a device filled with water that countered my weight. Every time I took a step, my body was propelled into the air. The spacesuits were heavy and hot, weighing against my body. This experience gave me such a profound respect for astronauts. Their missions are very difficult. Upon completing my lunar mission, I had a chance to proceed through actual aeronautics training, utilizing a variety of simulators. This was the first, called a gyroscope. Its very purpose is to give you the feeling of free falling through space. The machine spins your body in a multitude of directions without leaving you sick. It was a very unique and thrilling feeling. I also had the opportunity to use the 1/6 gravity chair. The chair counters your weight, letting you jump exorbitantly high heights and spinning your body in many directions. With each new experience, I realized that I had learned so much as a student here because of all the unique learning opportunities that they gave me. I began wondering how I could do this for my students. While at Space Camp, I had the pleasure of meeting Homer Hickam, the author of the book Rocket Boys, which soon became the movie October Sky. He spoke to us about how his teacher had changed his life. He said it was people like us that encouraged him to pursue his dreams and chase the stars. As I sat there listening, I knew it was the time that I needed to make my own change. Space Camp changed my life in more than ways than I could have ever imagined. I made lifelong friends and had an opportunity to collaborate with teachers from around the world and rediscovered my love of space. I had the chance to see the world as a student and gain some powerful insight on how I could help bring that inspiration to my classroom. I now look at teaching as an adventure. I come to school prepared to let my students experience their learning from a whole new perspective. I have designed my lab to be based on investigation, inquiry, curiosity, and innovation. Students spend their time learning, laughing, growing, and loving all that science has to offer, just like I did while I was at Space Camp.